Right.
Are you recording it?
Just some basic terminology to start with. Pretty much you already know it. It's pretty much been hinted at all the time. The only thing I will say in this compound, the arrow rest is interchangeable with launcher. Nothing really else changes. So this is pretty much basics. This is what you've been covered in the coaching course and all that stuff. I'll go back. So this section will probably cover everything you've actually already done. We've told it to you. You probably just need a refresher to remind yourself to do it. This basics is also your cheat sheet to, holy shit, something's going wrong, I need to fix it. Go back to basics, and it will slowly build up, and you will get back up to where you were. So, first of all, this is probably massively too late. Something you've already done already. Should have shoot compound or recurve. Complete personal preference. Really, compound just tends to be more expensive and much more competitive, with single points determining first and last place. So, a little hard. We also cannot coach compound as good as we can coach recurve because we don't actually have any compound coaches.
Yes.
Yes, I do want to talk to you about that.
Come on.
Just pretty much a summary of it. Compounds. Obviously you get a let off. Recurve you don't. Recurve, once you go to a certain point of your draw, this is probably more important for you taller people, the bows will start to stack, which means the relationship between the draw weight and the draw distance is no longer linear, so you essentially lose a lot of efficiency. Sorry, I'm an engineer, I like talking about efficiency and all that shit. Right, stance. This is the absolute fundamental thing you need to get down, done, and probably a lot of you need to correct or fix or just remember to do it each time. It's the start of where your shot is. There's two main stances, there's a square stance or open stance. Pretty much we would recommend using square stance unless you're sat there hitting your arms all the time or a wobble. So there's literally no difference between it. It just might not be as painful for some people. Compound, we also recommend open stance. Don't actually know why, I was just told that when I started. So, right, so bows and gripping. You will see a lot of us seniors, we don't actually hold the bow at all. We rest it in at the inside of our hands. This is to essentially alleviate any effort, any movement of your hand onto the bow after you've released. Because for a short time, the arrow is still attached to it, and any motion you do like that will cause the arrow to deviate. This really does affect you when you're learning, because you're sat down, you're gripping it tightly. I told you this all before, gripping it tightly, you're just putting torque on the bow. Torque on the bow means it's going to go deviate sideways, loads, which not really that great for grouping. So notice on the person there, it's the same for recurve and compound, so don't worry about the bow he's shooting. I will do the differences between the two at some point, but I'm just going to gloss over them because there are no compound coach shooters here. So notice, he's not actually got his fingers all the way around, there's a piece of string in the way, just stopping the bow. That just stops it from flying forwards out of his hand, which would be really quite embarrassing. So, moving on there, we have low, medium, high grip. We recommend starting with a low grip because it's the easiest to reproduce, but personal preference. Personally, I do about medium. It really makes no difference on compound. On recurve, it will make a slight difference because you're changing the energies in the bow ever so slightly. So with recurve, it is very important for you to keep your hand in the same place each time. Awesome. So onto the draw. This is where I get my lovely assistant.
Way.
Awesome. Do a quick one. Just to pretty much show the difference between drawing with your elbow and drawing with your hand, which is bad. Drawing with your elbow back, using your back muscles, bring your hand back, using your arm muscles. What's stronger? That was an open-ended question. Hit your back. Unless you're bench as fuck.
I'll get on that.
None of you have to worry about that. So he'll get there eventually.
Yeah, just carry on. It's alright.
No, I'm waiting on you.
Oh, fuck's sake. Oh, it's waiting on me.
So fuck it. Whatever. Remember, 2 fingers below, 1 finger above for sighted, 3 fingers below for bellow. No really difference, to be honest.
I'm done
Now I really need you.
now. I'm done now. Calm.
Calm.
Can you do it kind of over a bit so you're in the viewfinder? Yeah, excellent.
Not backwards. Okay, so
Wrong hand. Right.
First of all, take note of his hand, front one on the bow. When he draws it back, just focus on that one for this one. And I'd face them so you can see it, obviously. No, point that way.
Point, am I allowed to?
Yes, there's no arrow on it. No, that is probably his stance grip. His fingers aren't around it, there's a piece of shoelace in the way stopping everything, which is nice. Which means it won't fly out of his hand, which would be embarrassing. Right.
Get back to the gym. Fuck.
So, now side on.
Oh, side on. I did that earlier. Which way? I'll do it this way.
No, I do it the other way.
Oh, I took the other way then.
Right,
Your
draw
body's
back,
all-
pulling your elbow back. Much easier, knock him down. And draw back, pulling your hand back. I looked much harder.
Oh, that way as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we sit there and recommend. Sorry, I might have just scribbled a present. That's why we recommend using the elbow back. Much easier, much more effective, yes.
What's the difference between shoelace and what I've got? Which
Fuck all.
copper blaze.
Fuck all. Literally fuck all. It just goes in the way to stop the bow flying out of your hand.
The only thing I can say, if you get a hand sling, the one that rests on your wrist, be incredibly careful when you start letting go of the bow. I used to have one, it kind of fell over and smacked me in the nuts. So just be really careful about it. If you're doing that, basically don't grip it, just keep two fingers, well, your finger and your thumb, pinched together, but not tightly so you're putting all the torque to your bow and stuff, right?
Yep, cool. No, I still need you.
Still need me.
Yeah,
I feel so special for
right. Anchoring. We're going to have to do bare bow and recurve for this.
We'll do bare bow
Re-
first.
Okay, we'll go
I'm
to
bare
that for a
bow
while.
first, and then tell me.
With the finger on the mouth. Bare bow is slightly different. You have all fingers underneath and you put your finger, middle finger to the corner of your mouth. That's what Fabs use anyway, it seems to help him. I don't know, I don't shoot there though. It's the easiest thing to do because cheek moves all the time, mouth tends to be fairly neutral when you're shooting, so it's quite nice. That's important to note when it comes to sighted. This is probably the important thing, you need to make sure your fingers are set up like that. Thumb will go under your jawline and your finger will follow your jawline. Okay? Again, I know this is just reiterating everything, but sometimes it helps to be reminded halfway through or something. Okay. Right, reference points. Just hold it back all the time, just don't come down.
Alright, fine.
I'm joking. Alright, so notice centre of chin and nose. That's where the string goes every time. It's something easy to control, really easy to control. Sorry, I'm getting monotonous now because I want to get on to the interesting stuff. Reference points compound, different, no one here is interested. When did you shoot compound? Shut up.
Compound, thank
I'll
you.
do that later, but yeah.
Oh. Don't talk about the grip. I thought you were going to be
No, it stays the same.
Yeah. Don't put torque on it, otherwise you derail it like I did one evening. Alright? It's got shallow grooves and then high speed. I don't know how the high speed thing changes it, but basically if you do delineate it, it's just going to rail off. And I was quite lucky, it's only going to cost me about between 10 to 25 quid to get that done. If I had snapped a limb, I probably got shrapnel in my face, and I think those limbs cost about 125 quid each. Yeah, money. Is that it?
Yeah, for the time being. Don't go too far away. Okay, so releasing with recurve, nice and simple again. But it's important to remember that the effect you have on the arrow does not end until the arrow is really hit the target. I mean, obviously it ends when you leave the bow, but it's best to get used to it, you don't move until you hit the target. So, as you're releasing, you got it there, you want to remember a constant reference point for you come back and touch each time. This is a follow through, means what you're doing with hands afterwards is always the same, which means any sort of motion you do, it's going to be the same each time, because archery is all about fucking consistency, and it's really fucking boring. Right, so what I used to do, I used to come back and always go, touch my ear. Nice and simple, up away. Some people do whatever, just pull it back up away, but that's harder to reference. Compound is the same, you just go down. Yeah. Yeah, I don't need to do that. Alright. So this, I know I said basic stuff which is cheat sheet, but this is your cheat sheet's cheat sheet. It makes sense to me. So if you are having trouble with shooting and you're not improving as quickly as you'd like, the easiest thing to do is ask us, go through mentally in your head the actual process you're going through. So the first thing you do is you walk up to the blind and take your stump. So you take the time to make sure that's alright. You then knock the arrow, and then send to yourself, this is pseudo-science, where you just sit and sort of like, yeah, okay, I'm ready, I'm loose, I can do this. Yeah, some people tell you to sit there and visualise the shot and everything, but that's just fucking gay. Right. Then you lift the bow up and shoot. You don't shoot yet. You just lift the bow up, sort of draw back, remembering the elbow. Please remember the elbow. Anchor, aim, release, and most importantly, the follow through. Because if you're not going to follow through, it's not going to be consistent. It's just not going to be good.
There's some really good diagrams actually online about how force goes through your shoulders. Because there's some guys that tell you to drop your like your non-active arms as the arm holding the bow, and that's meant to like aid in relaxing yourself. Whereas there's some other guys that tell you don't do that. So once again, it's personal preference. Just don't, as Alex said, it's all about consistency, so don't keep switching between it. Right? Cool.
With recurve, you probably want to keep your arms still. Okay. Aiming. I don't know what I put on this section. Ah, yeah. Point on gold. It's that simple. Well, it isn't, but that's the basic thing you can do. Okay, you're vaguely good. You have, on a recurve, my awesome paint picture from last year. Right, you have the string shown in purple, the bolts and bow. Probably can't see on your own bows, but you can see on the club bows, and the L-shaped thing. You don't actually have a back sight on a recurve. You don't have a peep sight in the string. You can't have it for some reason. It's weird like that. So you have to make do with what you've got. What you want to do, when you're putting the string back, it's going to be right in front of your eyes. It's going to be horribly out of focus, but you want to try and place that over a consistent place on the bow. Ideally not on the sight, because your sight will move around every so often, meaning stuff changes, which is not great. So I always used to aim out with the side of the limb so I could see just about the edge of the limb and the string was in line with that, if that actually makes sense. I use the L-shaped one, because that works for me. Compound, get a fucking beam sight. Right, adjustments, nice and simple again. Follow the arrow, move. It's not that fun. Right, this is the actual more interesting stuff which I actually wanted to get onto, so I'm quite glad I glossed over boring stuff, but it's important to be refreshed about it. Okay, prerequisites. This is essentially what you need to be able to do before you even think about using stabilizers, clickers, or anything else, because they won't help you otherwise. Okay, they're there to aid you, they're not there to correct you. So, as long as you're not holding the bow, you've got your shoelace or whatever, you've got a good stance and confidence in your draw. When I say confident in your draw, I mean you're not drawing back like, yes, I can do this. I'm more saying, okay, I'm going back here in the same place, I'm releasing. It's just all confidence and consistency. Relative. So, stabilization. What are they? An increased moment of inertia of the bow. Does everyone know what that means? Yes, good. A little bit later. They also balance the bow, which is essentially noticed on recurves. Actually, there's more noticed on compounds because you have heavier sight blocks. But what's... We'll do another demonstration. This one's easy.
Alright.
You take your stabilizer off first. Yep. Okay, so that long thing on the front is a stabilizer, by the way, if you haven't noticed.
It's the field one, by the way, not an indoor one. But there's no difference.
It's not great, it's not great. I want one of those carbon blades. Holy shit, 250 quid though. Guys, we're going to kill Chris when he gets his blade, we're going to give it to me. Right,
Okay.
Right.
What am I doing?
Guide me. You go balance the bow on your hand out in front of you.
So balance the bow out in your hands.
Come on, right. So, the whole thing about stabilization and balancing is central masses, sorry. It's slightly in there. Don't like this. Right. So the easiest way to see this is to see how the center of mass is moving around. This is the neutral point you have. it'll pretty much naturally always fall like that. So it's always falling upwards, backwards, which means like this. It's fucking right-handed as well. Which means it works like this, it's going to fall backwards. Can anyone think of any reason why that is bad?
Hit you in the face.
Any other reason, bearing in mind this is off-centre. It forces the arrow up. Points. Now, you'll also notice on recurve a lot more, but you don't really do much about it because it's not as pronounced, that the bow also goes to the side quite a lot because of the sights and pressure buttons. That's why you use sideways. So, when you want to stabilise do it,
Can we put it back on?
yeah. When you want to stabilise to it, just go do the same thing as I did. It's going to show you the motion of the bow now. Homing's got to stabilise and set up.
No, I really don't.
Yes, it doesn't.
Oh, there you go. It falls that way.
Okay. It should fall down.
Hang on. Yeah, shut up. Why? That's why I'm going compound. Fuck off.
So your recurve then?
No.
You should recurve.
Yeah, true.
Right.
It's okay, only the entire club's going to see this, so it's fine.
Hey! Vote for me next year.
Right, okay, so then you want to hold it up and just show it, and it will fall, which is so much better. Suddenly everything's out of the way, it's not falling back onto you, which is really quite pleasant. Hopefully the next slide is the most interesting slide I ever put together with this. Hopefully. Yes! I managed to get an equation in it. This is essentially the equation which governs everything to do with stabilization. It's fucking momentum, it's easy. Essentially everything that governs everything to do with stabilization and why you have, you see pros with, yeah, the bows are balanced, but we've got like 10 weights on the front and 10 on the back. So that's just to increase the moment of inertia of the bow and reduce the momentum that the bow will travel at the end, which means it's more stable, it's not going to fly forwards out of your hands, which again is embarrassing, especially in competitions. So essentially, the string's mass is always fixed, and the velocity of the string is always fixed, and the momentum is always conserved, so the mass of the string and the mass of the bow must equal times the final velocity must equal the original momentum of the string. You can treat them as two separate variables. This is also idealized. I see you looking funny at me. It's idealized. You have no idea what I'm talking about, do you?
No, I'm paying attention to that.
Okay. I thought you were judging me.
Funny.
Okay.
Oh, well, that's my regular look. Okay.